How are you doing? It's almost coming up on a year since I've done this video. I did one last year at this time, and now I'm back. And I certainly intended to do more videos in the last year, but personal circumstances didn't allow that. My mother passed away after a long illness, so I've been busy with that for about the last year. If you know how that works out, you know how it goes. But in the meantime, I've done a few little projects and I'm coming back and I'm going to do a lot more music videos now. Going to get this thing really ramped up and going. Today, this is going to be part 2 of Cool Cocktail Vibes. That's this one right here, Cool Cocktail Vibes. We're going to talk about the second track. Now, if you want some background for Cool Cocktail Vibes, just go watch part 1. Because I talk about the background for why I made the CD and when I made the CD. It's a project I did with John Baraz, and project we recorded in 2008, and I mixed it and released it in 2022 to all platforms. And we still have CDs, although something exciting about these CDs, we'll be doing a full cover picture disc. In fact, I got to get those ordered like this weekend. It'll be really nice. We still have some limited cassettes as well. Very limited. If I get a cassette supplier, I might do some more of these. I've sold a few of these. People love cassettes now. Very retro. A lot of fun. A lot of fun in your old car. So in the last year, I've done a few music projects, released a few CDs for some folks. Their annual CD releases. Put that there. I don't have this all worked out. I also recorded a live concert, which is up on Spotify. I'll talk a little bit more about that. And most importantly, I released this, my own album of songs. And again, I'm going to talk a little more about that because there's a connection to the live concert and this CD to Cool Cocktail Vibes. Very cool. All right, get rid of all that. Take a sip. Oh, we've got, look, pineapple, orange, and guava. Very nice. And this is meet green dry moai. Well, one of my favorites. Mugs. So this is the most popular, or seems to be the most popular song on streaming. This is the second track, and there's actually a reprise of the track as well, which I'll talk about in a second part of this video. But this track is called Oh Man, She's Really Got It. And it features, I don't know if I can do this, but the big thing is, for me, it features bongos. These are bongos right here. I'm not going to play them right now because it's late at night and I don't want people to get mad at me listening to bongos. And conga solos, bongos and conga solos. This is a conga right here. If you can see it again, not gonna play it. We'll play it for you later, but I'm just not gonna. Can't really do it today. So anyway, let's get into it. Let's get into John Baraz, Talk Normal, Cool Cocktail Vibes. Oh Man, She's Really Got It. This is the second track. This also features flautist. You always want to say flutist, but it's really flautist, I guess. Named Jessica Bartlett, and she's really good. I'm not sure what she's up to these days, but she played at the time. She was playing in some different bands and playing flute, and man, it was just so nice. We'll get into the vibe of this song. There's all kinds of different influences. The breakdown is shakers, congas, an acoustic guitar, bass, an electric guitar solo, and then the flute. And so let's check out a little bit of that track right now. So really based on that motive, that, and then down to the F sharp, right? And the flute takes that and then works, expands on it, works on a solo. And so the guitar comes in later and does the same thing, and we'll look at that. So just to break it down, the way we recorded this was guitar and congas, and we did that live. Now, it's kind of interesting because I mixed this just before kind of the whole, what we call AI revolution came into existence. I mean, it's been out there for a long time where people were starting to use AI a lot. And one of the problems is when you record stuff live, even though you have mics, there's sometimes not good isolation. And I just did this in the basement, so there wasn't that great of isolation. Unfortunately, when John and I played this, my congas were getting picked up by his miking on his acoustic guitar. He didn't have a pickup. It was a mic, probably kind of like a lav type of mic that I have. You can't see it, but it's right here. And so this was basically what we did. We played through the entire piece live. So everything with the conga and the acoustic guitar is as we played it. There was your bongos. That little did-it. So yeah, I had to really work on trying to isolate from a frequency standpoint the acoustic guitar. As you know, there's no way to go back and re-record these tracks. But with AI now, you can plug tracks in and sometimes with good results, get the tool, the software tool, to break the parts up and go, well, here's your conga part and here's your acoustic guitar part. Unfortunately, didn't have that back when I was mixing it, kind of coming out of the pandemic. But it worked. It worked okay. We used a lot of tricks and things like that, like with compression and EQ. But nowadays, it's a lot easier to isolate. So then we added the bass as an overdub. John playing bass on this. He likes that little gliss on the bass. And then I added the shaker to give it a little high end. This tune doesn't have that many tracks. It's actually somewhat stripped down. Kind of like if you were just to come upon a, 4-piece, 3 or 4 people just jamming on a street corner, which is actually kind of the vibe I liked. And then here, we added the electric guitar. Oh, here we go. Break. So here's the electric guitar part. The electric guitar does 2 things. It plays the chords, comps, and then takes a solo after the flute is done with her solo. And so one way to get away from kind of that separation with the congas and the acoustic guitar bleeding over each other, I was able to use that electric guitar because basically playing the same chords. So you can kind of hear it there. And this is, I think it's about I want to say it's an 8-minute song. Yeah. Yeah. So this is basically an 8-minute song, 8 minute 19-second song. So it's the longest song. It's the first longest song on the album, Turquoise Strips, is the next one, almost at 7 minutes. So it's a long jam. Let's bring in the flute. And here's her break. Beautiful. It's really nice. Oh. This sounds so good. That flute. You know, jazz used to have a lot of flute in it. There was this guy, Paul Horn, and he would do a lot of just flute solos. One of the coolest records I ever heard, and we found it a while back in the record swaps, was he went into a pyramid and just with a recorder and his flute. And it's like a double album of him just playing these improvisations inside a pyramid, right? With all that echo and space. It's amazing. I recommend you to check it out. Like if you're looking for meditation music to meditate to, or just chill out, great record. I think it's Paul Horn, Inside the Pyramid or something like that. I don't know. I'll put it up on the screen for you. But yeah, was it like Hubert Laws? I want to say Herbie Mann. There's a lot of guys who played flute, and of course there were a lot of sax players who also doubled on flute. And I don't know if I've heard a lot of flute in modern times in the jazz, but it definitely was a huge instrument in the 60s and even going into the 70s. I know what you're all here for is the drum solo, the conga. So let's get into it. Let's get into it and let's isolate it. Now, again, I got to tell you, my performance is entirely live. I wanted to respect the vibe and not just go in and overproduce it or anything. So let's check it out here. Here's my conga and bongo part. So the conga's here, 2 congas, set of bongos that you saw over there. You can hear me breathing. I'm going, basically just doing a lot of repetitive patterns across the bongos and the congas. Let's listen to that in context of the tune. Live. Now, one thing I did do in production is drop everything out. Obviously, no hot mics, just the congos, and of course the shaker part stayed. But other than that, if I would have left the guitar, the acoustic guitar in the track, you would have heard the bleed from the congas. It almost was like a little extra delay that was not desirable. As you hear coming out of the congas solo, we've done the flute solo, and you can go, by the way, you can go up and listen to this whole tune. I'll link it and just enjoy it without me talking about it. Going into the flute solo, the first flute solo, then conga solo, then we go into John's guitar solo. Picking up that riff again. So I was listening to KMHD one day, and they played some Gabar Zabo. He was a guitar player. I can't remember what country he's from. I can wager a guess. I think he was Hungarian. If I'm right, I'll leave that in. If not, I'm just going to wager a guess and put it up on the screen. But this track, the guitar kind of, and the whole track kind of reminds me a bit of his music. I've actually heard some cuts from some of the things that he did in the 60s that sound very similar. So if you're into this kind of vibe, check out his albums. We're doing like kind of the exotica, lounge, jazz, really a dance environment, kind of a dance tune. Let me skip up here. The one thing I tell you about John Baraz, he always liked lots of stops in his music, like room around, stop. So I'll play you the second conga solo, which gets even crazier. Because I couldn't leave well enough alone, I had to start putting an ocean sound in, because I was kind of thinking, the first track we had jungle sounds, and it takes place in the jungle. So then the next track, it was like, okay, what do we do now? Or what do I do now as a producer? And I thought, yeah, it's so beautiful, but we don't have ocean sounds. And this is really making me think of the ocean coming out of that conga solo. Now, the conga solo, the idea I had in my head when John and I were playing with it is I just imagined, like, again, these old weird Hollywood jungle movies, or maybe 1960s movies, like, you know, or 50s or whatever. They'd be having a party in a bar, and some lady would jump up on a table and start dancing like crazy, or, you know, you'd have all these really, like, you know, I know it's really retro kind of stuff, but it's also kind of cool dancing. And so I always thought of all these guys like pounding on the drums, you know, at a fast tempo, as some gals like dancing, maybe a little overly aggressive for the tune. check this out, because we've heard from the guitar, the percussion, but who haven't we heard from in a little while? She's coming back. Man, I just love how that flute slides in there between the guitar. To me, her flute, she's out on the ocean on a rock playing the flute, you know? But it wouldn't sound anything like that because there would be no echo. You'd be out in the open space. Maybe if she was in a little cave in the coast with the water coming in, then it would sound like this. Again, right there, it kind of gave me the Paul horn idea right there. We ease that flute in and just have the flute bring us back down to the calm. That's, oh man, she's really got it. The first released version, the second track on Cool Cocktail Vibes, and that is, it seems to be the popular track on streaming, which surprises me because it's 8 minutes long. Cool Cocktail Vibes, available at the Bandcamp site. Gonna be coming out with an update to this CD with the picture disc with the cover on it. Got a few limited edition cassettes. If you like cassettes, go for it. They're pretty cool. The people who got them, they're just kind of fun. Pop them in your old car with a cassette deck, you know, or your party in your vintage stereo. So that's what I've got for the first part of Oh Man, She's Really Got It. But next up, we come back to the song for another take on it, which is just a beautiful, beautiful track. I really love this version. So I'm going to be back with you with that in a bit.